Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying a war film, entitled The Beast. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins in the year 1981. A quaint Afghan community situated in the parched and rocky landscape. The town's residents turn their heads toward the sky as they hear the sound of jet aircraft, explosions shaking the hillside and houses, and a group of 3 tanks approaching while shooting and demolishing more of the settlement. Goats and people alike are in mortal danger and must flee. An anti-tank shell fired by an Afghan man goes wide of its target. Women throw stones at a tank and beat it with stones until a yellow smoke canister is released. The toxic gas causes the Afghans to flee the area. The troops, some of whom are wearing gas masks, emerge from the building and proceed to pillage the community. A tank commander named Major Daskal exits his vehicle, raises his machine gun, and shoots it at another tank being attacked. Kovarchenko makes a daring escape in order to provide assistance to the other tank. An Afghan elder is kidnapped and brought to Daskal's tank, where he is forced to lie face down below the tank's tread. Samad, a member of the Afghan tank crew and a translator, is demanding to know the whereabouts of the Mujahideen. The old guy in the hamlet is kicked and punched while the women sob in the background. The 3 tanks move off, but Major Daskal's tank is the only one to miss its turn to the left and end up in a region that is encircled by steep peaks. The village's male residents have made their way back to the location of the disaster to take a look. Taj Muhammad is inconsolable and is comforting his uncle Akbar with his cries. The modern rebels come on motorcycles, headed by Taj's cousin Mustafa, who is armed with an AK-47 and smoking smokes while wearing Ray-Ban sunglasses. According to Mustafa, the tank has been misplaced in the Valley of the Jackals. Due to the fact that his older brother was the one who was killed, Taj is now the Khan of the village. Sharina, who would soon become his sister-in-law, pulls out an ancient rocket-propelled grenade launcher, also known as an RPG-7, to assist in exacting revenge for the killings. The disoriented Russians make a pause to regain their bearings. The map that belongs to Major Daskal is badly damaged and missing some of its information as a result. During their conversation, Samad discloses to Kovarchenko that he does not believe in the Muslim heaven. Suddenly, the Afghans on the ridge begin their assault on the tank, and as it retreats, the major fires a round in close proximity to one of the Mujahideen. The RPG shot from Mustafa misses its target by 1.5 miles. As the rebels argue among themselves, Taj becomes enraged and demands the RPG. Even though Uncle Akbar has been wounded in the leg, the Afghans are still following the tank. In the meanwhile, the Afghans, who are hot and thirsty, approach a waterhole. As one of them leans down to drink, Taj discovers an empty poison box, but it is too late, and the guy who was drinking dies a slow and excruciating death. The tank, which is concealed in some nearby bushes, has its sights set on the group of people who are standing by the waterhole. The round fails to fire, and the guys flee the area as swiftly as they can. Major Daskal has a sneaking suspicion that Samad was behind the malfunctioning weapon. The Major and Kovarchenko go inside the tank in order to finish off the round. A grenade booby trap is set up beside the shell that has been put on the ground. The tank keeps moving on in its journey. An Afghan finds the tank shell, and when he moves it, he loses his arm as the shell bursts. The tank shell was discovered by an Afghan. Taj gives orders to the others to feed and water the man, but Mustafa chooses to put an end to the man's agony by putting him to death instead of following Taj's orders. A gathering of dogs and the community's women takes together just before sunset to bury the dead man. The group of Afghans on foot approach a guy who is chanting a ritual near a huge fire. He believes that Taj is the reincarnation of David, coming to kill the tank. Kovarchenko and Samad are talking and playing chess while the Russians have set up their tent for the night. Samad elucidates the tenets of the Nanawati doctrine, which holds that everyone, even an avowed foe, has the right to seek asylum and that Afghans are obligated to grant such requests. During the battle between Golikov and Kaminsky, Major Daskal finds out that Kaminsky has been drinking the brake fluid, which contains alcohol, from his canteen. Additionally, the Major tears out the last page of Kovarchenko's journal. The Russians quickly dive for cover as a grenade rains down on them from above. The Russian soldiers, who are in a state of panic due to the disorganized nature of the conflict, are able to jump into their tank and flee the scene. Golikov has a wound on his face caused by shrapnel as they come to a stop once again some distance away from where they were. Once again, Major Daskal has reason to suspect that Samad is up to no good. When the perimeter security systems identify the presence of trespassers, the guards immediately open fire with tank rounds, flamethrower rounds, and machine gun rounds while simultaneously searching the whole area in a 360-degree manner using all of their available armament. Samad has been assigned the responsibility of carrying out the probe. The only thing he finds is a goat that has already died. Samad is attempting to pray next to a river when Daskal interrupts him and orders him to investigate the riverbed by wading into the water. In water up to his thighs, the Major takes his life with a single shot from the turret machine gun. Kovarchenko is incensed by the situation and writes about it in his journal. Daskal goes on a tirade about contributing to the homeland. He fought against the Germans in World War II when he was just 8 years old and was given the nickname Tank Boy. The three younger tankers begin to talk about rebelling against the captain. Kovarchenko informed them that they no longer had access to food or water, were almost out of fuel, and were leaking oil. Following yet another altercation, Kovarchenko is restrained and put on a slab of rock with a grenade placed just over his head. However, Golikov is unmoved by Kovarchenko's pleadings and continues to hold him captive. It is brought to Uncle Akbar's notice that Shirina and the other females who are following are there. Shirina has a number of grenades in addition to C4 in her arsenal. Kovarchenko is located by the dogs, and despite their best efforts, the grenade is knocked to the ground, where it detonates, but Kovarchenko escapes unharmed. As Taj walks away from his uncle, who is hurt, the younger man voices his uncertainty to the elder relative. While driving across a vast open region, Daskal spots the road to Kandahar in the distance using his binoculars. The Russians are jumping with joy. However, they are unable to proceed since there is a wide and deep abyss in their path. Kovarchenko is found by Afghan women, who immediately begin to stone him after he has been baking in the sun. Kovarchenko is at his wit's end, so he begs Nanawatai and the other ladies to stop. While he agrees to provide refuge to the troops, Taj wonders why the Russians have forsaken him. Kovarchenko is given first dibs on the food that the Afghans prepare for the meals during mealtimes. Taj is able to communicate with the Russians straightforwardly and uses gestures to convince him to fix the RPG launcher. Kovarchenko also consents to assist in the destruction of the tank. A Russian helicopter comes in for a landing next to the tank. The two young guys are excited to join the airplane. However, Major Daskal insists that they remain on the ground since they are tankers and have to drive back. The pilot hands out a few jerry cans of gasoline and then informs the passengers that they must return the way they came. Golikov and Kaminsky are taken aback as they watch the helicopter disappear into the haze of the desert. Afghans have taken cover behind rocks and are relieved to see the tank return. The assault strategy is laid forth by Taj. The tank continues to move throughout the night, and in the morning, Kaminsky reports that the engine has overheated. At the watering hole, the helicopter can be seen parked on the ground nearby. The pilot and the crew were not aware that the water was poisoned. Therefore they all ended up dying. Kovarchenko is seen by Major Daskal, who is observing the situation from a distance, rushing with the Mujahideen. The battery in the tank has died, so it won't start. There are no more rounds in the machine gun. Turning a handwheel to start a manual turret traverse is how Daskal gets started. Kovarchenko gesticulates to the Afghans and orders them to spread out as the tank fires an anti-tank round directly over their heads. Before Kovarchenko can get a shot off with the RPG, the tank fires up and pulls away from the scene. The Russian observes an oil slick and immediately begins to pursue the tank. While the tank is forced to navigate a convoluted road around the canyon, the Afghans who are following it have the option of taking a direct route across the hills. Daskal becomes aware of their pursuit and begins firing at the ridgeline. Eventually, the main cannon runs out of ammunition. Both Taj and Kovarchenko race ahead of the tank while simultaneously attempting to aim the RPG. Kovarchenko makes a mistake, but he still manages to fire a shot, scoring a direct hit on the muzzle of the primary weapon. The tank travels further toward the pass and what seems to be safety. After making a prayer to Allah, Taj sees an explosion in the sky, which causes a rockslide to descend upon the tank. It has been halted. From a higher vantage point, Shirina and her ladies glance down below. The right tread of the tank has been damaged, rendering it inoperable. Kovarchenko throws a firebomb beneath the tank after seeing that it is leaking fuel. The bomb explodes. Daskal causes Golikov and Kaminsky to panic, and then he gives each of them explosives because he wants them to commit suicide together. The two younger guys are able to disarm the major after Kaminsky refuses to help them. The three Russians exit the building with their hands up in a gesture of submission. When Golikov knelt down, he disgusted both the Afghans and Daskal with his behavior. Kovarchenko makes fun of the major, but he utilizes his nanowati protection to let the Russians depart on foot so they may escape. At the intersection, Daskal hesitates and falls farther behind the other two as the irate Afghan ladies approach while yelling. The movie ends with the flaming tank as the setting. Taj offers Kovarchenko a souvenir weapon. Sharina comes to the scene covered in blood and immediately apologizes to Taj. The Mujahideen flee once again at the arrival of another Russian helo. Koverchenko responds to Taj's request for him to join them by putting on the horse collar sling and being hoisted into the air as a result. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.